Hello, everyone. We are excited to get started here. Let me see if I can get Jen added real quick. But I'm super excited today to be talking about purpose and clarity and with Jen. So Jen and I actually connected because we did through the Scarlet Thread Society events, the Follow the Thread events that we've been doing. Jen signed up for one of the free human design readings, and we were both Capricorns, and then we connected afterwards and realized how much we had in common, which was super fun and amazing. And through our conversation, we were like, actually, what if we did something that is for all of the people that are in transition? Because I've had so many conversations recently where everybody's talking about how they're in some sort of transition or an in between or whatever that might be. There's Jen. Let me see if I can add her on. There we go, maybe. Technology. It says she's unable to join. What? Well, speaking of being in the in-between, Jen, I don't know if you can request to join again. I accepted it, but then I invited you. There we go. Let's try that. There we go.
Yeah.
Yay! I was like, it says we can't join. What is happening?
Yeah, I went out and went back in, technology.
Exactly. I swear Mercury's been in retrograde. It hasn't been, but like it really feels like it has.
Actually, it is. Doesn't
It
it
is now.
Mercury? I think it is now, right?
Yeah, I think the shadows for me are worse than when it like actually goes in because I'm like,
Yeah,
what is happening?
yes, I completely agree. I completely agree. Like the shadow period is like kind of like it's like you feel like you're in the in between, if it makes sense.
Oh yeah, that's what, and I was just like, so many people now I feel like are in transition and in the in between in some sort of like whether it's a place in their life or they're moving or it's like with business or with like technology and things just not working. And I mean, all of these things, even if it is like a shadow side of something, it's designed to help us clear out what's no longer serving us so that we can move forward. But in the meantime, it's like, can it just work?
Exactly. That in between can kind of be like feel like stuck and messy and raw and like it makes us very vulnerable and sometimes that's not the best feeling.
Not at all. It's uncomfortable. And I think like even doing the work that we do, like we understand like, okay, this is helping me for my better good. But in the meantime, it doesn't make it more comfortable and it doesn't
No,
make it easier. And
no.
it doesn't make it, especially when you're in it. That's why like I love doing collaborations and working with other people or coming together because I think when we come together, but like we can't see ourselves clearly unless you have a mirror or somebody to reflect back. So when you have these collaborations and opportunities to connect, it just makes it so much easier to navigate those in-betweens when we can't figure things out.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Yay! So I'm super excited to get started I'm super excited for our collaboration, first of all, where we're going to be talking a little bit about that today. And I know that like I'll do a mini like sneak peek with your human design and you've got some things prepared. But I guess let's just get started and do an introduction of who you are and kind of what you do. And then after those introductions, we can jump into our fun project.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to go first?
Sure. So, for anybody that does not know me or is new to my world, my name is Sam, and I am the founder of The Way She Was Made. So, a couple of years ago, I feel like I've been through many of the in between cycles. And through one of those cycles, I was figuring out really kind of who I am and how I'm designed to operate through the lens of my health because I had a huge adrenal fatigue situation and then celiac disease and kind of compounding all of those different things, recognizing like how did I get to this point led me to understand or discover human design. And for me, that was like a differentiating factor. I had a background in marketing, design, events, all of those things. But I just kind of kept going and going and going and never took a time to pause and really understand who I am until it got to the point where I had to. And human design was the tool that helped me to do that. So now I help women to navigate those in betweens, understand who they are with their identity, and then how to bring that forward, whether it's through their brand or their business or an event or a project that they're working on. So it's like inner identity and outer identity. Who are you from the inside out, and how are you bringing that into the world? And I use intuitive guidance and human design as kind of like my main focuses to help people to be able to do that. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I hope other women understand the way that they were made. And how about you, Jen?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Jen with Zen Jen Holistic. I focus on Reiki energy healing, removing blockages that kind of keep us stuck. And then once those blockages are removed, we're kind of able to move forward a little more clearly. We gain a lot of clarity that way, and we kind of can really pinpoint our purpose that way. I really focus on embodying self-love and self-compassion as well, because I do think that those are our, like, those would carry us in our day to day. Like, we can go through the day and, just be floating by, but when we really know what honors us and we're clear on like what our boundaries are and what we love and what we dislike and things like that, then that really, really paves the way for us to and catapult us to really creating something beautiful with our lives. And just like you, I do have a marketing background. I've been doing marketing and business development for over 16 years. I do have a degree in design, and I do love it because that is my creative energy. Absolutely love it. Fun fact, my favorite color is orange. I just so happen to be wearing orange today. And orange is the color of the sacral chakra, which is associated with our creativity, our expression, our sensuality, our sexuality, and just really just feeling comfortable like within our own body. And it's also about those relationships too. So the relationship that we have with ourselves and the relationship that we have with others. So I'm really just passionate about helping men and women really embody who they are meant to be without hiding. Just stepping into your power. That's one of my signature programs. Stepping into your power and shining to be authentically you and be magnetic and just really love who you are. So that's me.
I love that. I think like all of those things go so well together. And like you said, it's like until you take that moment to pause and be like, actually, who am I? And get that clarity, you can't really step into your purpose or help other people in the way that you're really destined to work. And like, I think so much, both of us being in the marketing background, which I think is interesting too, and coming from it from like an intuitive perspective. And really, like to me, marketing is something that it's really just how are you designed to connect with the world and like other people around you and sharing your service in a way that is beneficial to other people. So when you take that pressure off of like, oh my gosh, I have to make a sale or I have to do these things, and you're just stripping all of that away and it becomes like, who am I authentically? That's like the most important thing that you can do. And I think so many people are craving that right now. Versus just being sold to or trying to get another program, or there's so much like information overload and so much out there. So when you can just take all of that away and remember who you are, it becomes super easy to just kind of like share your story. And I think too,
Absolutely.
like entrepreneurship to me, I always say is like drinking from a fire hose of like self development and a really like a whole uncovering awakening journey.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that when you start to sit down and really think about like who I am, a lot of people think who I am is what I do. Like you would be like, oh, she's a Reiki practitioner. That's not really authentically who you are. That's just what you do. Like who you are is who you are at a soul level. Like I am a kind, compassionate, spiritual being, kind of like that. It's just really tapping in and getting to know who you are on that level.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, and that's kind of what led me to identity because I started doing applying human design using marketing tactics because I was like, why does what works for me not work for somebody else? And we're like very similar, we have similar businesses. And so that gave me the lens to be like, oh, we're all designed to connect differently. Like the way that I connect with people is more interpersonal referrals, connections in that way, and building trust, where somebody else who might have like a 5 line in their profile, for example, can just project things people are drawn to them because of the knowledge that they have versus like an interpersonal connection. So it's different for every person, and kind of understanding who you are from the inside out is really helpful in so many different ways. And identity is it's multifaceted. Basically, there's the internal part and the external part, but both of those pieces have multiple pieces to them, and you're not just one thing. So I think that's why people struggle when they're like, who are you, to answer that question, because today it could be different than who I am tomorrow, or like the different facets or pieces of me that you see tomorrow. So it's hard to
Mhm.
kind of put it into a box.
Right.
Amazing. Spam call. I'm like, why? If it says spam, just block it for me.
Yes, please.
But I'm super excited that we connected. So I started to say a little bit. I partner with one of my friends, Sheena. We have a group called the Scarlet Thread Society, and so we connected because you signed up for one of the free human design readings that we were doing, to just kind of help people to understand a little bit of a snapshot of who they are. And so after that, we like realized we had so much in common. We're both Capricorns. We both have a marketing background. We're both in the healing space. So do you want to talk a little bit about the event that we are going to be hosting later this month on the 23rd?
Yes, absolutely. So, on the 23rd, we are having a purpose and clarity workshop, which is a invitation to return back to yourself. And it's going to be so beautiful because there's going to be so many different modalities that we're going to be tapping into. Sam is going to be doing the human design, which is so fun. I'm going to be doing Reiki energy healing to clear any blockages. We're going to be doing some journaling and introspection, a guided meditation, and then also just a question and answer, and then intuitive guidance. If you come with specific questions and you want to know, like, hey, what are my next steps based on, my human design, like what should I do? Sam is going to be able to tap into that for you, and I will tap in and see if there's any other intuitive messages that I pick up, and then also maybe some strategic messages from my marketing and business development background that can help guide you in your next steps. So this is an open invitation for wherever you are in life, come as you are and return back to yourself. And what I love is you can be at any area in your life, whether you are looking for clarity on, your relationship or your self-love or your image, or your business career, or just like, how do I move forward from where I am right now, just in general. This workshop is going to be perfect for you.
I agree. And I love that, like, everybody can be in an in-between in some perspective. Like, I know so many people right now that are in the process of moving for whatever reason. Like, I think everybody's moving, in my sphere anyway. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm moving. They're like, wait, you're moving? Because I'm moving too. So like, even if you don't have a specific question or you're looking to find clarity, you feel like what was working for you in the past is no longer working, but you don't quite know or have the clarity that you need for what is that next step, or what like there's just something ambiguous where you feel like you're meant for more, but you can't quite pinpoint it, or put a finger on it. Don't feel like you have to have it all figured out coming into the workshop. Like, the whole point of the workshop is to help you to feel more aligned and to get clarity on whatever that might be. You might just be like, hey, everything for me right now feels suspended, like I'm just in an in-between, everything is up in the air and I don't quite know where to move. It could also just be an invitation to, again, come back into yourself so that you have a moment of peace. Because I know for me, like, my natural state of being is keeping moving, and I don't tend to pause long enough to actually get that clarity. So eventually I get there, but sometimes I make it harder on myself because I don't pause.
Yes. And also, if you don't have a question and you just want to experience the modalities, because we are offering so much in this beautiful workshop, this is a great opportunity for you to experience different modalities and to just get some guidance that you didn't have before. Like, something is going to pop up for you, like some really, some clarity, and maybe you're not looking for clarity. Something is going to pop up for you, and you're going to walk away feeling empowered regardless.
Yeah, I always like to say too, like, whether it's human design or intuitive guidance or whatever is happening, I think in any of the sessions that I've done, I always call them breakthrough sessions, because a lot of times it's things that you kind of already knew, or you had in the back of your mind, or subconsciously had a feeling of like, this is the direction I needed to go, or this is the answer that I needed. But a lot of times it's just kind of validation for you. So if you just need validation, or yeah, you're just looking to experience like, what is human design? I've never heard of this thing before, or what is Reiki or the intuitive healing, and you have questions on that, or you just want to experience it, it's a great way. It'll be virtual, so you can access it from anywhere, and it will be recorded. So if you want to like tap into the recording afterwards or go back through anything, there's going to be different opportunities there to explore whatever it is that you are needing support on. Amazing. Well, I know we talked a little bit about kind of exploring and giving a sneak peek of the human design and like Reiki intuitive healing. Do we
Mhm.
want to play around with that a little bit?
Oh my gosh, yes, let's go. I'm excited.
Okay,
I'm doing my little
perfect.
happy dance.
I'm going to pull up your chart really fast because I have
Perfect.
it in here somewhere.
While you're doing that, I went to lunch with one of my friends who was actually a healer as well. I was at lunch with her on Sunday, and we were talking about human design. And she was like, "Oh, what lines and stuff are you?" Or she asked like what numbers I was, and I was like, "I have no idea." I just knew that like what I am. I'm a generator, but I don't know like too much more into it. But it's kind of fun, like when you could talk the lingo with other people. But I'm excited to
Oh,
learn more about
totally.
myself.
Yes. And okay, so I think that's a great opportunity to be for anybody that is confused or has never heard of human design. Most people have heard of astrology. So we were talking about Mercury retrograde
Yeah.
before we came in here. So astrology or human design rather pulls from astrology, the I Ching, a couple different modalities, and basically it creates a blueprint of who you are and how you're designed to operate. So to the perspective where you were having a conversation with your friend, a lot of people have heard of like those archetype tests or the
Mhm.
Enneagram or different things like that. And really it gives you kind of a snapshot of like, who am I and how can I operate better or more in alignment and take away some of those resistance things. And then I use it too for helping people as far as building their brand or how do you market, or even I've done connection events. So like we've done a couple of singles and best friends matchmaking events of like, this is who you are, this is the role that you play. If you're working on this type of project or looking for this type of connection, this would be really good for you, or you might connect with this person. So I like seeing it as just kind of a blueprint or a permission slip to come back to yourself,
Love
is
that.
how I like to see it. So, as far as your overall energy type, it is a generator. So, there's six main energy types, and there's generator, manifesting generator. Those are like two kind of those are the two generator types, meaning that you have a defined sacral. Um, so in the blueprint of the human design, it's got a bunch of different energy centers, and they kind of reflect the chakra system. So like you were talking about the orange and that connecting to like the sacral center and
Mhm.
like that chakra, and all of the creativity, and kind of also similar to like the root chakra, I guess, in that kind of realm. But tapping into that energy, you gain energy and are able to be powered like a generator essentially. If you think about that, like it generates electricity when you're doing something that you enjoy. If you're doing something that you don't enjoy, it's going to burn you out or it's going to take your energy away. So it doesn't matter, like if you were doing a job that did not light you up, and you were like, okay, I'm just here for the money, eventually it's going to burn you out, even if it's like I'm just sitting at a desk and not exerting energy, because it's not
Yeah,
giving you energy either.
yeah, absolutely.
So like I think 70% of the population is some form of a generator type, somewhere around that percentage. So if you think about that and how many people that are just like, oh yeah, I'm just doing this job, I hate it, but like I have to go there every day because I have to make money. It's like that percentage of the population is not doing something that they enjoy. So how can we even pair that with something that makes it enjoyable or find the joy back in it again so that you can get more energy even being within that space? That's something that's super important for generator types. And your profile is a 6-2.
I'm gonna
So
write that
this,
down.
yes, the profile is kind of like a role that you play. So it gives you like a flavor. There's like I said, 70% of the population is a generator, but your type of generator is the 6-2. So the sixth line operates in three phases essentially in your life. So from 0 to about 30, it's called the trial and error phase. So you try a lot of different things, you figure out what you like, what you don't like, and then you kind of take those pieces with you going into the rest of your life. But the important part about that part of your life is it's meant to be like through lived experience. So
Mhm.
it's not an intellectual thing. It's like we were talking about with like the somatics. It's something that you're experiencing, whether that's traveling or trying different things for work or exploring different modalities that you really like. you're really meant to tap into those and try all of those out through the time when you're kind of like a Saturn return time. That's kind of when you start to be like, okay, cool. I've done a lot of the trial and error. I kind of know what I like, what I don't like. I've got more of a direction. And then they call it being on the roof for the second phase of your life, which is from 30 to about 50. And that's where you're
Okay.
stepping into your purpose. So
Okay.
it's kind
That's where
of
I'm
an
at now. So
integration.
I'm already in that
Yes.
phase, almost
It's an
halfway through it.
integration period. Yes. So the six is like any of the profile lines go from 1 to 6. So the 6 is basically like full completion, whereas the 3 stays in a trial and error period, like we talked about their whole life. You kind of graduate from that at about 30. And that integration period is you taking all of that trial and error and, like I said, stepping into your purpose so that you can later share your wisdom with the world. Because that last part of your life is you sharing the wisdom. So it's not to say that you're not sharing it now in your teaching, but you're still kind of in that integration phase of like, what does this look like? And people will start to come to you or be drawn to you to be like, okay, I know that you're really good with these types of things, or I'm looking for guidance in this area. I feel like you can kind of help me. Like people might intuitively sense that from you. And it'll really kind of anchor in where you're like actually a guide, like a guide where people are drawn to you towards the latter half of your life.
Yeah. Can I
Um,
just chime in and say that
totally.
so it's funny. So I got my certification in Reiki in 2019. So that was like at the tail end of that, like before I hit 30 kind of period. And a
Yes.
few years later is when I decided to be a practitioner. I like fully realized I was, already in my 30s. I fully realized like this is my purpose. Like my purpose is to really help empower people and really, show them that they have, you know, the worthiness within them and just kind of let themselves shine. Sometimes it's, like we keep ourselves hidden and we just need somebody to say, you can, take the shades off, like let yourself shine. And that's kind of funny because, now I'm a little over my mid 30s now, but I think the older I get, the better I get. But it's now I'm like, I do feel like I'm living in my purpose. So that's really funny that you said that because I did go through a lot of trial and errors. Anybody that's known me has, knows my story of trials and tribulations. But now I'm like living in my purpose. So that is like so spot on. Like that's really cool.
I love that. And it's also like because you're a generator too. So a part of that is we, especially as women, we're kind of conditioned in society, just how it is nowadays. To, like we get up, we go to school, we do that for however many years, and then we go to college, and then we're like meant to sit in a job. And we kind of just go through that process. And a lot of the time it's kind of like on autopilot. But some of that of like trying different things and seeing what works, what doesn't work, all it's also what do I enjoy doing? Like what do I actually want to do or feel purpose in or feel drawn towards? So the fact that you were like able to do that and try different things and be like, oh, okay, like this is my purpose. And you were like courageous enough really to kind of step in and be like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to step in and I'm going to be a practitioner. I'm going to be a healer. I'm going to try these different things because that's really what was lighting you up. Because a lot of times, what lights us up might not be logically what we're supposed to be doing. So it's hard for us to find the value or like the self worth to be like, no, I am meant to, like, our purpose as humans is to get to that place of clarity and cognizance and like enlightenment and be joyful. We're not meant to be doing something that drains us every single day. And
Yeah,
so many of us
exactly.
sit in autopilot and we have to kind of go through a process of self-acceptance, especially as women, to be like, no, I am worthy of having fun and I am worthy of doing something and being compensated and being able to live the life doing what I really love to do.
Yeah.
And so also with a part of that, so like I said, the chakra, I wish I could share my screen on here, but the chakras centers, for anybody that's familiar, or if you've seen a human design chart, it looks like a blueprint. Or sorry, it looks like kind of the chakra system with different energy centers in it. There's a bunch of different shapes that are attached to them. So if I walk through them, the top three centers for you are the head, the ajna, and the throat center, and they're
Okay.
all open. So they're undefined for you, which means that you are very open minded. And that's an amazing thing. So you can get those downloads and you can kind of like really receive them. And so you might be very intuitive and you probably also are very easily, like you can pick up on what people are thinking very easily. So you can kind of almost anticipate what people are thinking. But the downside to that is you may have in the past or sometimes still continue to do it where you operate from making decisions based on what is so and so going to think about this or what are they thinking because I don't want them to like feel this way in the situation. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think that I definitely operated like that in the past. Those could be those people pleasing tendencies, especially when, like if you've experienced abandonment or trauma or, even a low self-worth. A lot of people will have people pleasing tendencies where they're like, if I don't say anything or don't complain, they will love me more. Or if I, like don't say what's bothering me, like they'll just think, like I'm easygoing and nothing bothers me. We try to make ourselves smaller. But I think the older that I get, it's just I become so much more like unapologetically me and more
Mhm.
authentic, and really really working on that throat chakra.
Yeah.
A lot of my early in my 20s, I worked a lot on that root chakra, which is that grounding and that stability, because I never had that. So I needed to rebuild that first, and then now I am kind of like focusing on opening up that throat chakra a little bit more and allowing my expression to come out more and be even more unapologetically myself and maintain my boundaries and things like that. So it definitely makes sense for sure.
Yeah. So the other with the boundaries and the self-worth, you also your heart center, heart energy center, the ego center, and your solar plexus. Those are both also undefined. So that means that you're very empathic. So which being a healer, I think a lot of us have that open solar plexus center, which is amazing because we can truly feel the emotions of other people,
Mhm.
which is a great thing when you're like, okay, I want to be empathic and I can look at these different things, but it can also be hard because those energetic boundaries get blurred sometimes. So we don't know like what emotions or energy is ours sometimes. So that's a space where we need to kind of decondition or kind of understand. Like for me, when I have that open as well, and when I was doing wedding planning full time, I would walk into a space and they would be like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. Like immediately when you walk in, I'm like, all of my anxiety goes away. Well, I was absorbing that anxiety and like taking it on because I was like, okay, great. Like this is fine. I can do this. And then my body started to break down because I wasn't recognizing that a lot of those things were mine. And like you said, with people pleasing tendencies to us, initially we're like, no, I'm being unselfish and kind of caring towards other people by taking on those emotions, and me just being like, I can handle it, I can take care of it, I'm gonna like take on the emotions so that you don't have to feel that. But in
Mhm.
reality, that is kind of selfish. Or like if we're saying I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable by speaking up, if you think about it, it's kind of selfish because like we're like, I don't want to feel that, so I'm not going to say it so that you don't have to feel that because then I'm going to amplify it and feel it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so all of those centers together, anywhere where there's an open center in your chart, for somebody that is looking to find their purpose or kind of look at what they're here to learn in this lifetime, those are great centers to look at because it means that you are susceptible to picking up different lessons and different things from other people. So for example, like you were talking about the throat chakra and the voice, sometimes because you have that undefined and I have that undefined as well, we can somewhat feel pressure to speak if there is a silence, or try and figure out like it might be harder for us to express what are we feeling because we have that undefined, where we can kind of sense it and we can feel the feelings, but to express it vocally is harder. So it might be easier for us to journal or to write or to
Mhm.
create things in different ways, but speaking it can be harder. So some of those things that you're learning and looking at deconditioning, those are tools that you can then give your clients because you're like, hey, I've walked through this doing my trial and error or during that first part of my life. These are the things that I've experienced, and here's some tools that you can take going forward to help you to be able to step into your purpose and to get that clarity because these things have worked for me. Or you can kind of like use your intuitive guidance along with your experience to be able to move through that. Hold on, somebody's at my door really fast. I'll be right back.
While she's going to her door, I will chime in and say that that's a really big reason why I really do love journaling. Journaling is such a great segue for us to get out our thoughts and our feelings. And then with that, you can work on that throat chakra and, work on speaking it. So sometimes we just need to write things out first before we actually say them because we're not sure, like, how to say them. So journaling is a really great segue to doing that and opening up that throat chakra. Sorry, I was just
Yeah,
doing
I
a little
think
tidbit while you walked away.
that's
A TED talk.
perfect. I was like, oh, I'm not expecting anything, but somebody's here to deliver something. Yeah, I think that's like something, and I always like to say that it's like you're not doing anything wrong. And like human design has been a tool for me, like I said, to be able to be more self accepting because some of the people that are like, I wish I could just speak it out or I wish I could just say it, but they might be actually really gifted at writing or journaling to process things first. It's like kind of having that self acceptance of you're just designed differently. Like this is how you're designed to operate.
Absolutely.
Your other centers, so you have the defined centers of the G center, which is your center of self. So you kind of innately know, whether it's conscious or unconscious, who you are. So you can kind of, if you're going through a period of time where maybe you are operating from the thought of what other people are going to think about you or what other people are thinking, if you're making a decision for like a group trip or even going out to dinner or whatever that might be, you innately know who you are and your value within that G center. Um, you also have a defined sacral center. So that's what we talked about, where you have constant energy when you're doing something that you love. So if something excites you, you get energy or you gain energy. If somebody, interestingly enough, if somebody around you does not have a defined sacral center, but you're super excited about something, your energy and like the energy that you're generating will kind of power them a little bit, where they can get excited about that too, because you kind of like radiate that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So you're meant to be doing things that bring you joy with that so that you can kind of generate, empower, and build these different systems and structures or help people to see that they can do that same thing too.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have a defined root shock or root center at the base. So you innately internally know that sense of value or that sense of security is internal from you. I think sometimes we try to look for that externally, but we can always, when you remember or like when, since you've done a lot of work to come back into that center of feeling grounded and probably doing the somatic work too, because sometimes we can spend a lot of time up in our heads. So coming
Mm-hmm.
back into the body and like reconnecting with that, you innately have that gift within you because it is defined. And then you have a defined um, splenic center as well, which is your intuitive center. So you innately know like when something is done for you where you're like, yep, nope, I'm done. I've completed this project. You also can innately sense like, they call it like, it's the most primal piece of us, that splenic center, because it's able to process things in the moment or in the present moment to be able to feel the energy around it. So it's basically like you can sense if there's danger or something. My friend always jokes because like we'll be walking in the street, she has an undefined splenic center and mine is defined, and I'll be like, whoa girl, you almost got hit by a car, because like I'm innately like looking for that where I can sense if there's something happening. Whereas it takes her a minute to kind of pick up on those things. So anywhere it's defined, you kind of have already mastered those different things as far as coming into this lifetime, and you have those innate ways of operating within those different centers of coming back to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
The last thing I'll do is your incarnation cross, because that really touches on your purpose. So yours is the left ankle cross of obscuration. So you have gates 61, 62, 50, and 3. So you kind of innately feel pressure to find the truth, yet you always end up with half the truth sometimes. And you might think it's complete or unique, but you really came into this world to inspire others to take that truth and to be able to explore what that is, whether it's through universal laws or connecting to your own version of the truth, or piecing together like different parts of the truth from your experience so that you can kind of create your own authentic truth from that and stand within that. You're here to really help other people to understand how they're designed to do that as well and to encourage them to find their truth. So I think like what you were talking about of like clearing blocks so that they can step into their purpose or to find the clarity, that's like the perfect expression of your incarnation cross. With the gate 61 and 62, those are like your two gates are considered gifts within your chart, is another way of looking at them. So your gift of the gate 61, I have that one as well, and that's like your, it's called the inner knowing. So that is your strongest gift that you have within your chart. So for you, a sense of inner knowing is like innately there, where you kind of just intuitively know things maybe before it happens, and you try to process it logically, but you're just like, I don't know, it's just I know this thing and I have to tell you this thing, or I have to do it this way, and I might not know the answer now, but it'll reveal itself later. So with your purpose, kind of using that and not feeling like you have to logically figure things out all the time, but trusting that sense of inner knowing is a part of what you're here to learn as well.
Yeah. I love that. I'm living my purpose, guys. That's
Yes.
always a great thing to hear, even though I already intuitively knew that.
You're like, that inner knowing told me that I was
I
already living
know.
my
I think
purpose,
no
but
one
this
just
is
told me
confirmation.
what was up.
Exactly. I love hearing that though, because like I think so many people are like, oh, I actually am living my purpose. And it's not like your purpose. I think people think of this. I had this conversation yesterday and it was a great reminder because we think of our purpose as something that we have to do or complete, but it's really something that we're just here to be. So, like, you're
Yeah,
here to be that sense of truth and to discover that sense of truth for yourself to inspire other people.
absolutely.
Amazing. Do you have any questions or thoughts on like any of those different directions? I know that was a lot of information, but
No, I mean, I'm the type of person that like asks questions as we go so we can like dive in deeper before, you know.
yeah.
So I think that like we kind of covered it. Yeah, I mean, that was just really cool because I mean, obviously, I I know human design, but I don't know human design, if you know what I'm saying. So that was really
Yes.
cool to kind of just uncover a little bit more about myself.
Yeah. I love
Mhm.
that. It's always a great reflection point. I always come back to it when I'm like struggling and I'm like, why am I having a sense of frustration right now? Because for me, that's my out of alignment signature is like if I'm feeling frustrated about something, it's because I am out of alignment somewhere. So how can I use
Yeah,
my design as a map back?
absolutely.
Amazing. Do you want to touch on your part next?
Yes, absolutely. So before I do that, I am going to plug my phone in because I think it's going to die. I'm really bad at charging my phone. So sorry, guys. This is why I work off of a computer and not my phone.
Same.
Let me see if I can. Okay, I'm trying to keep it so it charges.
I know you're like, how can I charge it with like the plug in the bottom? It's so inconvenient.
Yeah, very, very true. I'm not quite sure how to do that. Um, so changes my little view a little bit, but I think that is okay. Fix that a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to be doing a journaling portion. I'm going to be doing a meditation, and I'm also going to be doing Reiki energy healing to kind of help clear blockages, allow me to get any intuitive downloads, and allow you to kind of sit in introspection. Because when we sit in stillness and allow the energy to just move and flow within us, sometimes we'll get like these really cool downloads, which are like these intuitive nudges, and that really kind of helps us gain a little bit more clarity on that. So I am just going to do a little snippet of Reiki for you guys to experience a little bit of Reiki and just kind of maybe open yourself up to new possibilities. So we are going
Yay.
to start that. So let me just move my phone for the last time. And what I want you to do is, if you are not already sitting, I invite you to take a seat or you can lay down, whatever feels the most comfortable for you. And I want you to release any type of tension that you may be carrying. You know, move your shoulders and your arms if you feel called to, and just get really still. And I want you to do a light body scan. I want you to see if you're holding tension anywhere. Maybe if you're holding tension in your third eye, which is in the middle of your forehead, maybe soften the eyebrows a little. Unclench your jaw if you're holding tension there. If you're holding tension in your shoulders, maybe roll them down and back. Allow yourself to be open. If your hands are closed, feel free to open them to be open to receiving. And just take a deep breath in through your nose, and out through your mouth. Just allow your body to be still. Now I want you to think of a word, phrase, or mantra you can set your intention to. Maybe it's something as peace and calm, or maybe it's something like clarity or joy, whatever resonates with you. I want you to breathe that intention in through your nose Allow it to fill your lungs. And as you exhale, releasing anything that no longer serves you. And if your mind starts to wander at any point, I want you to bring it back to your intention. with your eyes still closed, I want you to bring awareness to your body. And I want you to take in a deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale through your mouth, release any last little bit, anything that no longer serves you. You can start to move your hands and feet to wake up the body. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes. How are you
Amazing.
feeling?
It was needed to have a moment of stillness
Yeah.
because with all the chaos happening, I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I needed to do.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, sometimes all you need is a few minutes. Obviously, during our workshop, it's going to be a longer session, and a lot longer to experience it and to really even get in even deeper.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I love how too, like with the workshop, it'll be kind of blending, like we said, a couple different modalities. So through that, it's kind of setting the intention, going through the process of having the Reiki healing where we can just kind of be for a minute to get clarity on that, to settle the noise, and all of the pieces coming together at the end. I think it's just going to be beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I
Amazing.
do want to give a collective message, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Obviously, for anybody that joins the workshop, you'll be getting an individual message, but this is a collective message that I kind of picked up. The word authenticity came up, and it's funny because we had mentioned that a few times. So this is a question that I want you to think about. You can either journal on it later. This is for everyone. Journal on this later or meditate on it, or even just think about, number one, where am I holding myself back? And that can be in any single area of your life. It could be in a relationship, it can be in your job, it can be in your creative explorations or your art, it can be in your communication or the way you express yourself. Just really sit and think where you may be holding yourself back. So that's the first thing I want you to either journal on or meditate on. And then I want to take it a step further and ask yourself, how would it feel if I was living my authentic life or my authentic truth? So say you didn't have that thing holding you back or the thing that is kind of keeping you stuck. How would you feel if you didn't have that holding you back? So it's kind of like a little two-parter. Again, like I mentioned, you'll get more like insights and journal prompts and a guided meditation with the workshop that we do. But I wanted to give a little bit of a message and a little bit of introspection, because sometimes we don't really realize that something is holding us back. And it could be something small. Maybe it's a little thing that you're like, oh my gosh, I just need to, tweak this one thing, or I need to work on this. And then that can shift everything. And people don't realize one small step can literally shift everything. So,
Yeah. I think that's a great reminder because it's something that I've been trying to remind myself of like what's like the one thing that I can complete right now. Like even if it's making breakfast or sending one email or just writing a list out. It's that one little thing can make such a huge difference in it looks like or it might feel like it's not even making a dent in the big thing that you're working towards, but it could be that thing that shifts your energy that gets you to the right place.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, for everybody that has joined, we would love to hear if you have any questions or feedback. Feel free to leave them in the comments or send us a message. I'll put the information and it's in both of our links and bios and stuff for the workshop going forward. But it will be on June 23rd. So everybody is welcome to join and attend. And like Jen said, it'll be a little bit more personalized. We'll have some of the human design components and insights for everybody, as well as personalized intuitive guidance, but I'm super excited for this workshop.
Yes, me too. And I do want to chime in and say that even if you cannot attend live, you will be prompted to be before anyways, to so that way we can get your human design, and I can get any specific messages that came up for you, because what I do is energetically based, and you don't need to be here physically. It can be done virtually. It can, just be done with an intention, because it's all energy. So even if you can't attend live, you will still get the benefits, and it will still be personalized to you, because you'll be submitting your information prior, so that way we can kind of help guide you.
Yes, yeah. And anybody that doesn't attend from the human design perspective, I think that's a great point too, because I'll pull your chart and still give a little overview and some insights for you within the workshop. So you can go back through and watch the recording, even if you can't attend live, to still get everything out of it.
Absolutely. And what I love is that you will get obviously a lot of really great information specifically for you, but maybe somebody else's like intuitive guidance or human design might trigger something, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to start doing that, or that sounds like something that I would love to do, because it's a big collaborative. Oh, and I have chills saying it now. Oh, spirit is on this one. It's a collaborative, it's a community, and we're all here to empower each other.
Yeah, and I have a good friend who I've done like cacao ceremonies with and led them and stuff like that. And she always says the circle is the teacher. So all of the energy that comes into the space, we're all meant to be there for a reason. So if you're intrigued by this, or you're like just looking for more information, or you're trying to get that piece of clarity, or you're just looking for a sense of community and space where you can kind of connect with other people, everybody who is drawn to the space and will be a part of the space is going to help to create the experience that happens there. So
Absolutely.
it's always fun to see.
Mhm.
Amazing. Yay. Well, I will put all of our contact information and the information for the details for the event on the 23rd below, and you can comment if you have any questions, and or like just share your experience if you watch this live afterwards and you're looking for different insights or questions, or if you had something spark during the meditation, and we would love to hear it.
Thank you guys so much for your time. I really enjoyed this.
Yes, me too. I'm so excited. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.